Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and welcome to, I've forgotten what we're on, episode 93 of Friday Night Appointment with Fear, and this week, as you may have guessed from that intro, we're doing Psycho from 1960, classic film, and one of my favourites of all time. And Windgrace is in the house already, saying he's had a bowl of Psychos for breakfast. I bet somewhere in America, I bet there are breakfast cereals called Psychos, because you've got everything in America. I bet you have. Anywho, so before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, we're live on YouTube, let me double check. Yes, we're live on Rumble, and we're live on Twitch. Yay. Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Sorry, I keep doing that, but my hair keeps going sprawling out of me behind me. It needs trimming again. What was I saying? Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Links are in the description. Sorry, I'm just sorting DVDs and stuff out. So I can get to my books. As I've links to my two books, Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats eating people in North Yorkshire. And there's Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs and stuff like that. Right, let's put these back. That's what we're watching tonight. Psycho, the original, not the remake. Which I didn't mind, but it was just pointless. Windgrace says, this movie frightened me so much, my hair won't settle down. Oh, my beard's curling because of it. It's a film I've never found frightening, by the way. A lot of people say it's scary. I didn't even know whether to, do it as a Magnificent Monday or an Appointment with Fear, because is it a horror film or is it just a thriller? I think it's more of a thriller, isn't it? It does have some horrific moments in it, I suppose. Anywho. So, info about the film. If you've not seen this film, where have you been for the past 64 years? Directed by Sir Alfred Hitchcock. Stars Janet Leigh, Anthony Perkins, John Gavin, Vera Miles, and others. Something I meant to look up. Hang on. Does it say? Just bear with me. I don't know, I can't find it. Never mind. I meant to look something up and I forgot. Never mind, don't matter. It's not important. Well, it is, but never mind. Where were we? Oh, right, Psycho, yes. After he'd done, I think it was North by Northwest, they were going to go on to another film. I can't remember what it was. But that fell through. They couldn't make the next film that they were going to do. So they were kind of stuck for something to do, Mr. Hitchcock. And then he read the book Psycho by Robert Bloch, and he was so taken with it that he immediately bought the film rights and went round I presume around Los Angeles or whatever, buying up every copy of the book he could, so that people wouldn't know how it ended when he made the film. This was before he even had a green light, I think, for the film, because he shopped it around various studios and got rejected. He ended up at Paramount, and he said, I'll make this film, do it in black and white for under $1 million. I'll use my TV crew from Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and so just leave me to it. So they said, fine, whatever. So, and thus history was made. Right. So anyway, off we go. Famously, it was mostly filmed on the Universal backlot. There was some location shooting in Phoenix and a bit in California, but the rest of it were filmed on the backlot. Cause apparently Alfred Hitchcock didn't like filming on location if he could avoid it, so it was filmed on the backlot, and it's still there. It's like a tourist thing now on the backlot. I've got it here in Google Maps, so we'll have a look at it now, shall we? Here it is. Before we start the film, so there we go. There's the Psycho house. Can you see that? There it is. Closes at 10 p.m. It's open right now. And there's the Bates Motel. It hasn't got a street view thing. I don't think it has. No, it hasn't. Look, no street view thing for us to look at. I don't think. Let's have a look. See what happens. No, it doesn't do anything. But this isn't the original Psycho house. That's what I'm trying to get at. The one that's on the tour now. I think the original one was pulled down, and it was rebuilt again for Psycho 2 in the early 80s. 1982 when Psycho 2 came out, I think it was. So it was rebuilt for that, and I think the motel might have been built later for one of the other Psycho things, or maybe even the TV series. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, there's the Universal backlot. I think nearby is the War of the Worlds crash site. It's here somewhere. I've seen it somewhere. Where have I seen it? The War of the Worlds plane crash. It's here somewhere. You can see it from miles away. Not that I've ever been. Never mind, I can't find it. Round here somewhere. Jurassic World the ride. Where have I seen it? Bloody hell, I could have sworn it was around here somewhere. Where is it? I thought it was right next to the thingamabob, Psycho house. Could have sworn it was. Never mind. I did see it when I was searching round for this. I did see it, and now I've lost it again. Bloody Google Maps. It's a pain, isn't it? Never mind. It's not important. Anyway, right. It closes at 10. Why the hell would they not host sleepover events? Maybe they do. I don't know. Anyway, so that's that. Right, and get rid of that now. Right, so let's get on with the film. As usual, I'll not be just watching the film, even though it is an old one. It still is in copyright. It's not one of these copyright-free black and white films. So we're watching a series of stills. I try and remember things I've learned about it and all that stuff. I forgot to mention, I've got a Patreon page where I add stuff on there that's not on YouTube. Speaking of old films, I do make Magical Monochrome on Patreon. I've also got a shop where you can get stuff like this T-shirt. There it is, look. Old Yorkshire Geek Friday Night, a Poem with Fear T-shirt, and there's actually a vampire lady in it as well. Behind, you can see her there. Look, there she is. Right. Anyway, so there's that. Oh yeah, you did a list I forgot to watch yet. Yes, on Patreon. Yes, I did. I forgot what it was. 10 actors that have been in Star Trek and Babylon 5. I think, yes, it was. And I added some of my own at the end. I mean, only 10. There's been loads, haven't there? But anyway. Right, so let's get on with this film. I'll make myself titchy tiny. Just bear with me while I sort things out. Let's get rid of that. And down we go. Spladoosh. Right. And we'll add the film and we will begin. Right. Here it is. Right, off we go. Josh, I thought I'd muted it. Control M. Right, off we go. Comes at Universal for some reason. Although it is a Paramount film, Universal must have distributed it at some point. Here we go. There we go. Paramount. Well, I don't know why they've got this Paramount release. But it looks as though it's the TV thing. Is it because he used his TV crew? I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I'm sure I've read somewhere that there was talk that it might have ended up being part of his Alfred Hitchcock Presents series. If it didn't work out as a movie, but I don't know. Probably hit 10 before exhausting most of the main and supporting cast. Pretty much. Anyway, right, off we go. Alright, the iconic Psycho opening title sequence, which I don't know why they went with this, done by Saul Bass, who I think did the first James Bond film, Dr. No. I think he did. I think Maurice Binder came in later, maybe for Goldfinger. No, he didn't do Goldfinger either. Don't think he did. Maybe he came in for Thunderball. Anyway, whatever. And the Bernard Herrmann score. But listen to a bit of that because it's one of the best scores of all time. Chin 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 chin. Cool. Terrifying music. Anyway, so there we go, starring Anthony Perkins, who I know he's been in a billion gazillion things, but he'll always be, I forgot his bloody name now, the doctor that gets murdered by the robot in the black hole. Anyway, yes, proper film music. All Bernard Herrmann music is proper film music. Right, so that's Anthony Perkins. I missed somebody out. Go back. It's Anthony Perkins. We notice there's no Janet Leigh yet. Vera Miles, who plays Janet Leigh's younger sister. I always thought she was her older sister. When I've watched this, because Vera Miles maybe it's just the name Vera, I don't know. But I know she's called Lila in the film. I always thought, but she looks a bit older than Marion Crane in this film. I always thought she was her older sister, but I looked it up, and she's a younger sister. And Vera Miles is younger than Janet Leigh. But anyway. John Gavin, who plays Sam Loomis, which is probably where Dr. Loomis's name comes from in Halloween. But John Gavin later became the US ambassador to Mexico. But also, it was James Bond officially for a while, but just not on screen. It was going to be James Bond for Diamonds Are Forever, but then Sean Connery came back. Then it was going to be James Bond again for Live and Let Die, but then Harry Saltzman said, no, we need a British actor because he's American. So it was actually James Bond, all signed up and everything to be James Bond, and they honoured his contract and paid him, whatever the contract said. So it was technically James Bond for a while, twice. Right, so anyway, we'll co-starring Martin Balsam. He plays Arbogast, the investigator. I don't know who John McIntyre plays. I have no idea. And getting to all these co-stars and stuff. No bloody Janet Leigh yet. Pat Hitchcock down there, you can see. That's Alfred Hitchcock's daughter. Point her out when we get to her. There we go. And Janet Leigh as Marion Crane. So there we go. Screenplay by Joseph Stefano, who would go on to co-create The Outer Limits. I thought I knew that. I did check. I thought, I know that name. Did he do The Outer Limits? So I looked it up. Yes, he did. Based on the novel by Robert Bloch. Famously inspired by the story of Ed Gein. The famous, kind of a ghoul, wasn't he? Some people say he's a serial killer, but I don't know if he was technically classed as a serial killer, Ed Gein. But I think he did kill. I don't know the story in detail, but he did kill a couple of people at least. But most of his ghoulishness were doing ghoulish things like stealing bodies from digging up graves and stuff like that. Also inspired Texas Chainsaw Massacre and other stuff. But anyway. Right, so here we go. We're getting there. There we go. Directed by Alfred Hitchcock. There's no producers. No producers. No producers on this film. It's just directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Bugger everybody else. He produced it as well. So we begin with a shot of Phoenix, Arizona, in December. Alfred Hitchcock wanted the helicopter shot. He wanted the helicopter to fly through these buildings and zoom in on the hotel window where our first two characters are in a tryst. Is that the right word? But they couldn't do it. They tried to work it out how to do it, but they couldn't do it. So it ended up just being like crane shots and zooming in and stuff like that. So anyway, so here we go. So we're in Phoenix, Arizona. For some reason, I always think it's Tokyo because of that tower, which is still there. Oh, I forgot to mention. In the description, I've put a link. I think I have for Grim Life Collective's Psycho filming locations video that they've done. So they visited Arizona and found the hotel and stuff, and the sites in Arizona, and also another filming location. But as I said, everywhere else were filmed on the Universal Studios backlot. Right, so here we go. It's Friday, December the 11th. I don't think the original script had a date. I don't think it was set at any particular time, but they thought, well, we better set it in December because we keep seeing Christmas decorations in the background. Right, so here we go. We're zooming in on the hotel. This is an actual hotel called, I think, the Jefferson Hotel. Bear with me. I've got it here somewhere. Yes, the Jefferson Hotel, which is in Phoenix, Arizona. Right. And it's still there, and it looks pretty much the same. Yes, they should have just used a drone. Oh, dear. Ooh. Or a hot air balloon. Had them then, didn't they? And Josh Temple's here. Sorry for being late, but his harpoon's at the ready to take out the psycho. Anyway. Is he a psycho? I don't know. Anyway. Right, so here we go. Let's say he wanted to just go in and, just dissolve, just dissolves into the. Oh no, it's just this hard cut in it into that. We're on a set now. The camera moves in, and what it does here when the camera gets this far, I think they pull the wall away so the camera can go into the room. And here we meet in a shocking, thing straight away for 1960. Yes, or a Zeppelin, yes. A dirigible. Could have used one of those, couldn't they? Anyway, this was shocking for 1960, because obviously this is Sam Loomis and Marion Crane in a hotel. They booked it for the afternoon. She's on their lunch break, so they're not having an affair, because he's divorced. Well, he's going through a divorce. Or is it? No, he's divorced. Yes, he's divorced. But I saw somewhere that they said he were having an affair, but he's not, because he's divorced, isn't he? But he doesn't want to marry Marion yet, because he's so poor. He runs a store in, I forgot the name of the bloody town, Fairfield, somewhere like that, in California, just over the border. But he's got lots of debts, and he's got to pay his wife alimony, his ex-wife alimony, and all that stuff. So he doesn't want her to marry a poor shopkeeper. Anyway, but so we've seen all this, and it was quite shocking to see a lady in her underwear. Yes, scandalous, says Win Grace. It is scandalous. And it's Friday and hot. I'd be hot if I were with Janet Leigh. By the way, Janet Leigh, I forgot to mention, probably most famous for this and being the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis. I forgot to mention that. Everybody knows that. So anyway, they're talking about how they want to be together, but they can't, etc. Because he's so poor, and she lives with her sister, and she wants their relationship to be on the up and up, and not meeting in hotel rooms, etc. I wonder how they met. Like I say, she's from Phoenix, Arizona, and he's from wherever in California. How did they meet? I don't know. Anyway. And this were a bit naughty for the time. She's saying, she wants him to come for dinner, where be all prim and proper, come for dinner with her and her sister, with the sister helping her broil a big steak. And he says, what after that? I says, all right. But then what after the steak? We send your sister out to the movies. We turn mother's picture to the wall because she mentioned, I want you to come to my house and have dinner with my mother's picture on the mantelpiece. And then he says, what do we do then? Send your sister out to the movies and turn mother's picture to the wall and get up to more rumpy pump because that's all he seems to be interested in. Not surprised, but to be honest. But anyway, but there you go. He's saying he wants to be with her, and why not indeed? So there we go. So he's gone about his debts, paying off his father's debts and all that. But anyway, Fairvale. That's it, Fairvale. I was close. I've only seen this film about a gazillion times. I'm useless. But she's saying no, she'll do that and she'll lick the stamps. When they're sending, alimony checks off. So anyway, right. So she's got to go back to work. Right, here we go. This is the Alfred Hitchcock cameo. He wanted it early in the film because he didn't want to distract. As the film went on, he didn't want to distract from the film by his random appearances he has. Sorry, Windgrace, I didn't thought you'd mention that. Who doesn't love a good broiled steak? I don't even know what a broiled steak is. Anyway, so there he is just in the window, just standing there with a cowboy hat on. In the Gus Van Sant remake, I think they have like a look-alike of Alfred Hitchcock, and Gus Van Sant's there in the window, and I think Alfred Hitchcock's like prodding him as though he's telling him off for remaking his film. Anyway, right. So anyway, here she comes into work, does Marion. This is where we meet Pat Hitchcock. There we go. There's Mr. Lowry back from lunch. That's their boss. Who seems a bit of an arsehole, if you ask me, because apparently he's got a lovely air-conditioned office, and the two women have got to, swelter in, Arizona heat. But anyway, so that's Pat Hitchcock, who is Alfred Hitchcock's daughter. But anyway, so he's not in yet, and apparently she's got a headache. Didn't have an headache earlier, did she? It seemed. But anyway, so there's a bit of banter. There we go. And here he comes, does the boss, with I forgot his name already. Does he have a character name? I just watch these films. I don't take notes. George Lowry is the boss, and you know what? I don't know his name. I can't remember. It might say in a minute. Anyway, here he comes into the office, and it's sweltering. And then he's telling them, get your boss to air condition. They are, but we learned that he's got air conditioning in his office. What a dick. Anyway, so we learned that he's bought a house. It must be a realtor's, real estate agency or something, and he's just bought a house through them. And he's paying in cash, $40,000 in cash, which apparently is about $300,000 today. So it's $40,000 in cash, and he starts waving it about after he shows a photo of his daughter who's just getting married, and that's why he's buying the house for his daughter. He asks Marion if she's unhappy, and she says not inordinately, but then he's showing. There we go. He's showing, waving the money in her face, and cogs are working now because remember Sam's poor and has lots of debts. Anyway, he's waving it about. Pat Hitchcock says, "I declare," and he says, "I don't. That's why I get to keep it." So he's a naughty man. And he says, oh, hang on. And he says he never carries any more than is, willing to lose. Which turns out not to be true, as we find out later. But anyway. Right, so the boss says, transaction of this, cash payment of this size most irregular. And, he says it's my private money and all that. But then he's going to carry on drinking with the boss in his air-conditioned office. Tax jokes, yes. Anyway, so he's going to carry on drinking in the office with Mr. Lowry, and Mr. Lowry says to Marion, "Go pay the money into the bank, and we'll get him to write a cheque on Monday." This is Friday, by the way, Friday afternoon. So going to pay the money into the bank, and then get him to write a cheque or something like that. So he's going to go and drink. There you go. Put it in the safe deposit box in the bank. There we go. So there. She puts the money in the famous envelope, and so she pops that in her purse, and then she gets the deeds for the house, takes that into the nice air-conditioned office. Idiot. Anyway, she says, "Here's the stuff," and then she says, "After the bank, can I just go home, 'cause I've got a headache?" And drunken fella, rich man, says, "Fine, yes, go and do it. I'm going to be occupying your boss all afternoon anyway." So now the cogs are going in her head. Is this? As soon as she saw the money and got it in her hands, did she think, right, I'm going to take this money now, or what? I don't know, but she's now a bad girl, because we saw her before in a white bra and undiplugs, but now, dun dun dun, she's in a black bra, because she's been corrupted. There you go. She's looking at the bed, getting dressed. There we go, with the money in. Dun dun. What's that? $100 bills. Anyway, she's got a bag packed and she's off. She's off to go see Sam and pay off his debts. Don't know how she thinks she's going to get away with it, but she's going to have a go. She's going to have a go. I think she also gets like the stuff for her car, so she must think, I'll sell my car on the way. Maybe that's part of a plan. I don't know, but I don't know if it shows it. She just grabbed stuff for her car, all the documents and things. There we go. I think that's it, isn't it? Stuff for her car. I think it showed it then, didn't it? There you go. Auto. It's all auto stuff. All the necessary paperwork. So anyway, so she has a little think about it. She thinks, am I doing the right thing? She thinks, sod it, I'm going. Then she's driving through Phoenix, which we've seen in the background. She's going through the scenarios in her head. What would Sam say? When she turns up with $40,000. What would the boss say? What would the man say? Whatever they said. Hopefully it'll tell us. Then she stops at a junction. I don't know what you call them in America. Some traffic lights, and she sees Mr. Lowry just walk past the crosswalk. Is that the right term? And he turns and looks at her. I thought, she was supposed to be going to bed, going home to bed with a headache and stay in bed all weekend. So you think, and she smiles and she goes, ah. She's not very good at this, being surreptitious in this film. Like, look, and then, heck. Someone just didn't run him over. Intersection, yeah, whatever. We'll get through more British versions of American words later, like boot and stuff like that. But we'll get to that. So she carries on again, driving. Dun, 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 dun. I think the music came on then. As she just carried on driving. Right, now she's out on the whatever, the interstate or whatever. What is this background? I've never understood. What's going on with that background? Is it just... Cause there's cars there, but what's all this going on up here? It's all like scratches. So is that... I don't know. It must just be added or something. I don't know. Maybe the original background were no good and they just stuck a picture on. I don't know, but it's all scratched and done in. But anyway. Right, so she carries on driving into the night, as we can see, but she starts getting tired and sleepy, so she pulls over. This is in Gorman, California. Lollipop man. My mate used to be a lollipop man. He did. Anyway. she pulled over to have a snooze at the side of the road, and this is where we meet the cop from Terminator 2. I know he's not, but it just reminds me of him. Even though it's totally different, but here he is. So he sees her, and he taps on the window, and she gets up, she sits up, and she starts the engine, and she's going to drive away. He says, turn off the engine, miss. And she's been very suspicious. She's in a hurry and all that. She didn't expect to sleep so long. So when she stopped, she pulled over to, because she got so sleepy. He says, well, there are motels in the area. And she says, well, have I broken any laws? Well, no. Then I'm free to go. So turn off the engine. Someone did pull a gun on her. It's America. You got your license, buddy. Anyway, it does ask for a, license and registration and all that stuff. But she asks, am I acting suspiciously? And he says, well, frankly, yes, you are. But anyway, so it gives her the go ahead to carry on. So off she goes, but now she's still worried. Now she's driving down the interstate. Keep expecting to see Dennis Weaver go past with a truck behind him. But anyway, we see the police car's behind her. She's getting worried about it. But then he turns off, and she thinks, "Oh, I'm safe," but not for long. So she carries on. Now she's driving into this town. Don't know what it's called. I can tell you actually because I've got it here somewhere. It's in well, I don't know where it's supposed to be, but the actual location is North Hollywood in LA. She's going to Harry Mayer Pontiac, but in the film it's California Charlie's. Anyway, here she goes. So there it is, California Charlie. She's gonna what's the word? Oh God. Swap her car for another one. What's the word? I can't remember the phrase. Never mind. So I don't know if this was the plan from the start. I'm guessing it was, since she put all her paperwork in the car. So she's been very sneaky. She gets a paper, I think, to check, see if she's in the news. But I don't know if she is. But then that cop appears, and did he follow her? Did he just notice her? I mean, she's a noticeable woman. But anyway, there you go, he's seen her. So he's going to pull over and just spy on her for a while. Then she's reading the paper. The LA Tribune, City Council, something school bond, etc. There's a sale on at Pennies, etc. Part exchange. That's that's the phrase I'm looking for. You've got to part exchange her car for another one. Oh, we got there. Anyway, so there you go. There's an old saying: first customer of the day is always the most trouble. Who's that actor? I don't know. Have I seen him in anything else? I don't know. California Charlie, where are you? John Anderson. It's very familiar. Very familiar. What have I seen him in? What have I seen him in? Oh, we're in Quantum Leap. Murder, She Wrote. MacGyver. It started next. Of course, yes. It's Kevin Uxbridge. It started the Next Generation. You know, the what's the name of his race? It was like a super powerful being. There were him and his wife, weren't there? And the aliens came and wiped out this planet, and he wiped them out, didn't he? Yes, it's Kevin Uxbridge. That's where I know him from Star Trek, of course. Anyway, so she says, "Can I swap my car for another one?" He says, "Well, you can do anything you take your mind to. No doubt you will, if because you're a woman." A couple of lines like that in this film, about women, women. Anyway, there you go. Got to trade my car in and take another. And there we go. Do anything you have a mind to, being a woman, you will. So she has a look round, and she says, "I'll have that one. How much with my car?" I said, "Don't you want to, drive it about or whatever? You don't want a usual day and a half to change your mind, I said, "Nope, just, how much?" So anyway, says, "Your car is 700. And she goes, "Oh, 700, yeah. Always got time to argue money." But he says, no, that's fine. I'm going to take that car. So he's obviously suspicious now. Yes, he killed them all. All of them, everywhere. I forgot the name of the alien race he killed. But anyway, never mind. Not just the men, but the women and children too. He's like Star Trek's Anakin Skywalker. Anyway, so she's going to go into the bathroom and get $700 out in cash. Ooh, pardon me, burping. To pay for the car. Anyway, so he's obviously suspicious, and so he's saying, you can prove that car's not, that car's yours. I don't want to, bad word of mouth or whatever. But he says, no, I just want to swap my car. There's nothing wrong. Honest. Here's $700 in cash, in crisp new $100 bills. So, right, fair enough, whatever. And I must admit, I bought a car. I think it was this car I've got now, actually. Quite quickly, I must admit. Not quite this fast, but I went in, had my car. It was actually their idea at the dealership. They said, "You want another car?" I went, "Yeah, whatever." So they said, they took my car like my old car as a full deposit, and I chose the car that I have now, and I think I got it. I think this were on a Monday, and I picked the car up on the Thursday. I think something like that. And he said it was one of the fastest sales he'd ever done. But anyway, but I hadn't stolen $40,000. Anyway, right. So she sets off. She gets in the new car and sets off. And then she gets hey, and she slams the brakes on, and she was nearly driving off without her suitcases and stuff. So they shoved that in. There we go. She even opened the door without getting out. And so she drives off, leaves them pondering. There we go, as she drives away with the cop there. And then she's doing more internal monologuing. There we go. California Charlie, heck, officer. That's the first time I ever saw the customer. High pressure the salesman. And somebody chasing her. And then the cop says, she was acting suspiciously or whatever. Then she's doing the office again. She's thinking about Caroline, who's Pat Hitchcock, saying Mr. Lowry. Marion's disappeared. She's not coming. But they must be open on a Saturday, most of that office. Remember, it was Friday. So don't know where she is. And then she has she's thinking about, it's Mr. Cassidy. Mr. Cassidy, the fellow with the money. I think he's called Ted Cassidy, isn't he, in the film? Tom Cassidy. I'm going to say another Star Trek reference there. And Adam's Family. Ted Cassidy played Lurch, didn't he? But anyway, never mind. And also in the original series of Star Trek. Anyway, where were we? So now she's thinking about Mr. Cassidy, what Mr. Cassidy's going to say, and he's angry about losing the money, but then she gets a little evil look on her face. There you go, I told you, all that cash, she shouldn't have done all that. But there you go, I'll track her, never you doubt it. And then she's got a little evil smile on her face, because she knows she's done a wicked thing. As she carries on driving into the night, and then it starts raining. So where we're learning, her inner monologue is going through the sequence of events that she imagines has happened. Tom Cassidy is an X-Men character, is it? Oh, right, cool. I wonder what his superpower was in this film. Getting drunk and flashing money about. Anyway, so she's thinking about all that. Then it starts raining, look. No, it's starting to rain. And it starts raining really, really hard. I'd have just stopped if it were this bad. Like I say, she's struggling. She can hardly see where she's going. Look at it. You might as well I'd have just pulled over. I'd have pulled over. I can't see where I'm going. I hate driving in rain. And at night. Rain at night's the worst. Anyway, she gets off the highway, apparently, or the freeway, or whatever you call it these days. And there you go. She comes up to the Bates Motel. There it is. and there's a vacancy. So she thinks she's got a nice place to stay for the night, and she gets out the car, she wet through, look, in the rain, and she toots her horn, because there's nobody in the office, and she looks up at the house, and I think she sees, there we go, we see somebody walk by the window, any minute now, there we go, Mrs. Bates, no doubt. Anyway, they go, honks her horn, and suddenly a chap appears at the door, comes running down, got an umbrella with him, doesn't put it up for some reason. Look, here he comes, look, he's got a closed umbrella. Is he an idiot? He's a psycho. He's a psycho, feed my Frankenstein. Bit of Alice Cooper there for you. Anyway. So, he books her in, so to speak. So we've got 12 vacancies, 12 cabins, 12 vacancies, being all nice. It's Norman Bates, Anthony Perkins. And this is where we learn that they moved away the highway, so hardly anybody stops there anymore. But anyway, so she's going to book in there. She signs herself in as Marie Samuels. Remember, Sam is, Sam Loomis. It says she's from Los Angeles. And there you go. She looks at the thing. Where are you from? And she looks at the paper and goes, Los Angeles. He's going to give her a different cabin. Look, he's going to, then he thinks, I'll give her number 1. Because that's where we learn he's got a peephole. So he can spy on her. So he's not all innocent. They try and make out at the end of the film that he's kind of innocent, is Norman. But, he's not. He's, a bit of a shady character. But we'll get there. Anyway, so there we go. Putting her in the cabin 1 next door. And anyway, she learns she's only 15 miles from Fairvale, which is where Sam is, remember. But she's gonna stay the night anyway. So he shows her the cabin. There we go. We learn all about it. There's the. He don't like to say the word. He says the bathroom. Yes. Anyway, so he invites her up to the house for dinner. It's just sandwiches and milk, but it'd be he would like it very much. So she says, "All right then." He must seem trusting for some reason, but anyway. So she gets herself sorted. He says, I will come back with my trusty umbrella that he'd never used, but never mind. So she's sorting things out, and she's hiding the money. Well, she's just put it in the bottom of a suitcase, but she's going to hide it in the newspaper for some bizarre reason. But there you go. She's having an idea. Look, she's putting it hiding it in the. Let's just take all your stuff out of your suitcase. I mean, if you want to be super safe, just tear the cloth at the bottom of your suitcase and shove it under there. No, it's being all, she's overthinking it, isn't she? Anyway, she just leaves it there, out there, If she just picks it up, all the money will just fall out. But it doesn't, oddly enough. She must have glued it in. Anyway, should at least offer her Ovaltine, yes. Yes, my sister were an Ovaltine, apparently, back in the day. My older sister. I don't know what that entailed. She just told me. I were an Ovaltine. No idea. Anyway, then we hear the sound of Mother berating Norman, saying, you're going to go with that floozy and do all sorts of sordid things, etc., telling him off. And then he said, Mother, no, you're a blah, blah, blah. Anyway, comes out with his, with the food, brings it down. Instead of her going up to the house, he suggests that they have dinner in the office. So that's what they're going to do. So they go in the office. She was originally going to go into the cabin, but he says no. Come into the parlour behind the office, as it's warmer. It's like California next to. It should be warm anyway, but never mind. Right. So anyway, so it takes him into his room of death with all his stuffed birds, because that's what he does: stuffs birds and mothers. Spoilers. But anyway, so gives her the sandwiches and milk, and they go, you eat like a bird, he says, and she goes, yeah, well, you'd know. And she's thinking, How do I get out of here? I just jumped in the car and driven off. But then he says, he's talking about birds. That's a falsity. That's like a made-up American word. I should have said falsehood or something. But anyway, because birds eat a lot. Anyway, telling about his hobbies, stuffing things, and apparently, it takes up more of his time than it should, because he's, all he does is stay at the motel, looking after his mother at the motel, and that's his life basically. But anyway, there you go, saying, "Is your time so empty? Errands for his mother and all that stuff." And then there's the line, and she says, "Don't you have any friends?" "Well, a boy's best friend is his mother." Oh dear. I'd have just put the sandwich down and said, "Well, hey, since it's only 15 miles, I think I'll drive. I'll drive to Fairvale. Let's keep the money. I'm going. See ya." I'd have grabbed that newspaper. I'd have been out of there. Anyway, so... he asks her, "Are you running away from something or whatever?" And she says, "Why do you ask that?" "Oh, no reason." But then talk about being in traps, and then I think she's realising now, she's coming to she's realising in her mind that she's done the wrong thing, and she decides she's actually going to go back to Phoenix. But anyway, because they're talking about being trapped. And she's caught herself in her own private trap, and she's going to go back to Phoenix and sort it out. She's going to do the right thing. Probably give Mr. Cassidy that car and say, "I owe you $700, plus whatever she's paid Norman." Anyway, then he's telling about his mother, that she's she built the hotel with a chap that talked her into it, and but then he died, and it was too much for her. She became an invalid, blah blah blah. But there we go. Son is a poor substitute for a lover. More alarm bells. But anyway, but then she says, why don't you leave us?" "I couldn't leave her." But you should be alone up there in that musty, cold house. And says, "I don't hate her, I hate the illness." And there you go. And then she says the thing she shouldn't have said that kind of triggers him, maybe. They go, "Well, couldn't you put her someplace?" And then he says, "Oh, do you mean a madhouse? A lunatic asylum?" They can always call that someplace. Has he been there? I don't think it says in this film. I know after this film he goes there, doesn't he? But anyway, then he kind of gets angry with her, so she's like terrified now. But so he's telling her off now in a bit of the script that I think it comes off a bit, I don't know, a bit scripty. Saying don't sound natural, but anyway. They cluck their thick tongues and shake their heads and all that stuff. But, they mean oh so well, blah, blah, blah. But, anyway. And then he does the line. She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes. Ha ha! But, anyway, so she's saying, "Right, I'm off, I'm going." There you go. She's going to spend the night, but then drive back to Phoenix early in the morning. He says, "I'll bring you breakfast." He says, I'll be going really early. So, and then she tells him her last name, because he says Miss, and she goes, "Crane." Remember, she signed in as Samuels. So off she goes, but then you see, he's thinking now. I don't think it's mother at all. They always say spoilers, but that everybody knows the film. Spoilers at the end of the film. They always say it's mother that takes over and does the nasty stuff. But I think he's pondering it now, to be completely honest, because he checks the register, notices that she's not called Crane, and she's going back to Phoenix, not Los Angeles. Anyway, so he's gonna look through his people now that he's got behind this painting. which apparently has some relevance, but I don't know what it is. But never mind. So he takes. There we go. We've got a people, and then we get a kind of an iconic shot of him. He's watching her getting undressed. He's going to show it. There we go. With the eye looking through the people, which has been, I think it's been copied or homaged in other films. There's a film called Haunting of Helena, which kind of essentially did exactly this shot. But anyway, I was having a look. I remember Vince Vaughn did more than look in the remake, didn't he? Anyway, so he's off back up to the house. There we go. He's going to go upstairs, I think, but then he changes his mind. He just goes into the kitchen. Because he doesn't want to confront Mother. There he goes. Just goes into the kitchen and sits down. At the kitchen table. We see this kitchen again, don't we, in Psycho 2. Where somebody gets whacked with a shovel. Anyway. Meanwhile, back in Marion's cabin, she's working out some arithmetic. Because she can't work out 40,000 minus 700. Why is she writing it down? For plot. We needed her to write it down. For clues that come along later. Anyway. How much has she got in? She hasn't got a lot of money in the bank, has she? $824. That's how much she's got in her bank balance. And 12 cents. So she's not well off, is she? By the way, it's supposed to be December, wasn't it? It's at the beginning, December 11th. January 20th, it says there. So has she been paid for nearly a year? Looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, dear. I've just noticed that. First time I've noticed that. Because I don't usually freeze frame it as I'm watching it. You know, so it passes by, doesn't it? I don't notice. But notice now. Anyway, so there you go. She's noting that. And then she tears it up, and she was going to throw it in the bin, and then she thinks, oh, no, I'm going to flush it down the toilet and have everybody in America going mental. Because you're not allowed to show flushing toilets on movie screens or TV screens. People went crackers, didn't they, apparently. But anyway, so there we go. But not all of it gets flushed away. Anyway, she's off its shower now. So here we go. Off she gets in the shower, which was apparently lovely and warm. Apparently the shower water were lovely and warm. The stories that Hitchcock made the water really cold, to make her scream or make her go, or stuff like that. But apparently he didn't. And she said sometimes it was actually a bit too warm, and it steamed up a bit. But it were all lovely and warm. So off she goes, getting ready, having a shower. Hang on. There's a shot. Who's going to show it? I bet I don't land on it. When she turns on the shower. There we go. That shot. Special rig. I always wondered how they did it, to be completely honest, and not get water all in the camera lens. They had a special rig where it squirted water all round the camera lens. And nary a splash on the lens. Anyway, so there we go. So she's anyway. There she's showering herself. We'll linger on this bit, by the way, and off she goes. But then they got the famous thing. The door opens, and in a figure emerges in the gloom. By the way, the shower curtains. They did lots of shower curtain tests to find one that were kind of translucent, but you couldn't see too much through it. So you had stuff like that, so you could, make out a shape, but with no features. And it worked the other way as well, so you couldn't see. If the shot hurt, you couldn't see like nudity or all like that. Not that she was nude. They did do tests with a nude model, but that didn't. Actually, there might be a shot of the nude model in the film, but just for an instant. Anyway, this figure comes in. There we go, and then we get the famous scene. Here we go. Jin, 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 jin. Here we go. That's not Anthony Daniels. C-3PO is about to murder her. No, that's not Anthony Hopkins. And neither's Hannibal Lecter. Anthony Perkins. Go through all the Anthonys. That's not Anthony Perkins, by the way. He were in New York when they filmed this scene. I think it took him about a week as well to do this entire scene, which lasts, I don't know, is it a minute, something like that, if that. If you time it from beginning to end, it's not long. He were in New York doing a play, so this is a stand-in. They actually black-faced, so it always was in darkness. Anyway, so there we go. So with the iconic shots, there we go, screaming and stabbing, etc. And famously, you never see the knife entering her body. I don't know if you did in the Gus Van Sant thing. I think you did. I think you did see her get stabbed in the Gus Van Sant version, but who cares? Yes, Anthony Stark. Yes, that's another Anthony. Only his mother called him that, probably. There we go. Anyway, stabbing away. She pulls the shower curtain down. By the way, she grabs at the shower curtain, pulls that off, screaming. And the blood that we see, again famous, everybody knows this, is chocolate sauce. They tested various things, for the blood splatter in the shower. Is it going to show it? If we see any. There we go. They tried various things, theatre blood and stuff like that, fake blood and tomato ketchup, and they found that this chocolate sauce that they used were the best, the best consistency, and with it being in black and white, it didn't really matter, did it? It just had to be a dark substance. Thank God Ted Turner didn't colorise it. I bet he wanted to, but it's not a Warner Brothers film, so they were all right. Anyway, so there we go. So stabbing's over. Mother leaves. I think that might have actually been a woman. I think. Can't remember. I saw it in a there's a documentary on YouTube. The making of Psycho. I think they might have said it were a woman. I can't remember. Earlier on, I was trying to look up the woman that actually does Mrs. Bates's voice, and I couldn't find it. But cause it's not Anthony Hopkins, is it? Anthony Perkins. Why did they get on Anthony Hopkins? Let's have a look again. Mrs. Bates. Does it say? Because she's like uncredited, I think. Norma Bates. There we go. Virginia Gregg. There we go. Virginia Gregg did the voice of Norma Bates. By the way, I like the series Bates Motel with what's her face and him. Two names I can't remember. It was good though, good series. Although it was set in modern times. Anyway, so here she is dying. Dun doo, dun doo, dun doo. Is it gonna? Dun doo, dun doo. I know she's dying, but she looks gorgeous, doesn't she? in her death throes. She does. Anyway. Can see what Tony Curtis saw in her. And yeah, so she's going to die now. She's going to reach out. And this could be the nude shot. It could be this, actually, where she grabs the shower curtain. This could be where they use the nude model, maybe. Because you do get a hint. See what I mean? We'll go past. It's blurred, but I think that might have been the nude model. In the background. There you go. No, this is where she pulls the shower curtain off. There we go. Bing, clink, dong, ding, and hits the floor. And there was actually a scene that they cut out where they showed her or her body double. By the way, she was never nude in this. She had like a moleskin wrap that they wrapped round her. And it was like figure hugging. And it was like, flesh coloured. So she was never nude. But she was saying in this part, when she was lying there, what's her face? Janet Leigh. It started coming away from a certain area, and a lot of the crew were up in the rafters. Obviously, it's on the set. They were up in the rafters more than you normally see, she said. And she said it started coming away, but this apparently took a long time to film. She was there quite a while, really uncomfortable. And she says, I don't want to do take after take of this. So she just went with it. Says if it falls off and they get an eyeful, so be it. Anyway, there's the shower still going, its special rig. Yes, there was a scene of her. A bottom half is still in the bath, and a top half's on the bathroom floor, and you could see her bottom basically. It's like an overhead shot of her with see her bottom. But they made them take that out, did the censors. So anyway, so there we see the stuff going down the plug hole. And the famous pullback on Janet Leigh's eye. And it's all done in camera, in real time. Although I did see in a documentary I saw, not that one I watched on YouTube, and another one, where there were a memo from somebody. It might have been Alfred Hitchcock's wife, maybe, because she was involved as well. Saying they had to take frames out because she blinked a bit. Which is not surprising. I'm surprised she kept looking like that as much as she did, because like water's dripping and all sorts. But it's actually done, in real time. She stayed really, really still, and apparently you can see her breathing, but I can't. But it pulls away. So maybe if there is a tiny little jump, maybe that's where they took a frame out, where she maybe blinked a little bit, or maybe just her eye moved, a little bit. I don't know, but. Whatever. So there we go. That's the end of Marion Crane. And then we have a pan around the bathroom to the money shot, so to speak. Late news flashes. Can't see what it says. And then Norman's found his mother. The blood! Mother, no! Blood! And he comes running out and into the cabin, and there you go, shocked. Ah, no, what's happened? He sees Marion dead. In the book, apparently, he chops her head off. Not read the books, I don't know, but apparently he just chops her head off. There's Norman in the book. Didn't go that far with this. Or in the Gus Van Sant remake. Anyway, there we go. He's recoiled in horror and knocked the picture of the bird to the floor. Because he said she eats like a bird, so now she's a dead bird on the floor, so to speak. Anyway, so he's wondering what to do, and he thinks, well, I've got to cover for my mother, so to speak. I know that rhymes. So he closes the door, goes and gets a mop and bucket. Notice it's showing the newspaper with the money in all the time. Just about every shot it's there, isn't it, in the cabin. There, look. You can see it. It's there at the bottom of the frame. Oh, dear. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier on, Alfred Hitchcock is famous for, pre-arrange or pre-setting up all of his shots and, everything being just right. And he's famous for it, which means his film shoots, more often than not went super smoothly because he was a stickler for, it wasn't like Kubrick being like a perfectionist, but he wanted everything sorted out and ready to go. And I think in the scene where it's raining and Norman Bates comes running down from the house, I think something kept him away from set. I can't remember what it was, but it kept him away. And he's like director of photography or whatever. Said, "Oh, we'll take care of it. We'll set everything up, and we'll sort it out." But then he came back to set when they were getting ready to shoot, and he looked and he said, "You haven't sorted it out properly, have you?" In his Alfred Hitchcock way. And they said, "Yes, we have. Everything's all lovely." And he pointed up at the sky. It's supposed to be raining, by the way, so they'll probably have them rain towers, maybe, or whatever, so it's all raining. He pointed up at the sky, a full moon up in the sky. Says, "It's supposed to be raining. We're in the middle of a rainstorm. How can we see the moon? It's supposed to be, obscured by clouds." So, anyway, for that scene, they had men with big black panels following the moon round, because way back in the distance it was just black, so you couldn't see him. So anyway, that was that. Anyway, right, so back to this. Norman, and me, going to tidy up the mess. So, gets the shower curtain, puts it out on the floor. By the way, I think the body that we see now, I don't think is Janet Leigh. It's standing or lying, whatever. A body double. So he pulls her out, pops her on the sheet. By this time, by the way, so he's seen a naked lady, or partially naked lady at least, and he's done screen kisses and stuff like that. Anthony Perkins was still, pure. He was a virgin, and apparently lost his virginity in, I've forgotten now. I looked it up. Hang on, let me check. 1971. To, of all people, Victoria Principal. What a way to lose your virginity. But so there you go. That's reportedly anyway. Right. So where were we? There he's washing his hands, and trying to get the blood off everything. These are the days before the police, I presume, went round with UV lights and stuff. But anyway, he does his best, I suppose. Cleans up with the mop. There we go. Gets all the chocolate sauce off. There we go. Down it goes. Were they her slippers, or did they come with the with the room? I'll say they're hers. So mopping up, etc. Oops, that's wrong button. Sorts that out. Then goes over it with a towel. It'll do. My sort of cleaning. It'll do. Then he gets her car and backs it up to the cabin. Massive boot in the. I know you call it a trunk, we call it the boot. Why? Dunno. Just do. Massive boot. Gets the body in and everything. There we go. Takes the body out. Shoves that in the boot, and also the mop and bucket that goes in as well. And a suitcase. He picks up the key. And he goes over to the dresser here, and I thought, is he taking a trophy, a souvenir? Because he takes the clothes there, puts them in the case, puts a purse in the case, handbag, and then we see him pick something up from the dresser and pop it in his pocket. And I thought, is he taking a trophy? And then I realised, no, it can't be. No, so it might be actually, because I thought. And then I saw him later in the car, and I thought, no, it might have been her car keys, but he's already backed the car up, hasn't he? So maybe it is. Maybe he has taken a trophy of hers and popped it in his pocket. Anyway. Or maybe it's just a mistake. Maybe all the car keys. That's a bank book in it and little notepad and stuff she were using. So pops them in the suitcase. What else? Puts the picture back up on the wall. Presume he's picked up those slippers and her dressing gown, whatever. Then he notices the newspaper. I think, is it now where he gets the newspaper? No, he hasn't noticed it yet. It's showing us the newspaper that he hasn't noticed it yet. So he's going and putting everything in the boot of the car. He nearly gets caught, by the way, as we see there. Oh, a car goes by. He goes, look, don't look suspicious. Oh dear. So everything goes in the boot, 'cause there's massive trunk space. And then he notices the newspaper. Just picks it up. Doesn't know there's $40,000. Well, 37,000. Whatever. $39,300 or whatever. Doesn't notice there's that in there. Shoves it in. And then goes and drives round the back of the motel where there just happens to be a handy swamp. Thank goodness for him. Are there a lot of swamps in, California? I don't know. I always think of it being like deserty, but I don't know. Maybe it's quicksand. I don't know. But it looks like a swamp to me. So anyway, pushes it in it goes. He must know it's deep. There are suggestions that he's done this more than once. So anyway, so the car starts sinking, and then it stops. It gets so far, and it stops. By the way, it's obviously a day for night shot, isn't it? It's obviously filmed during the day, but. Then they put a filter over it. And it stops, and he thinks, "Oh crikey!" So he has a look round, and then it carries on. And it were on a, what do you call it? Like a little elevator thing, little lift thing that they put down there. And there we go. So, job done. Everything's lovely at the Bates Motel. Meanwhile, fade in to Sam Loomis Hardware in Fairvale, California. He writes Saturday. Is it? Yes, it is still Saturday. No, it can't be, can it? It was Sunday now, isn't it? She set off on Friday afternoon, didn't she? She slept overnight at the side of the road, arrived at the Bates Motel on Saturday night, I'm guessing. Yeah. And then, died. So it must be Sunday now. Is it? Anyways, put Saturday there, whatever. Dearest, right as always, Marion. I'm sitting in this tiny back room, which isn't big enough for both of us, and suddenly it looks, underlined, big enough for both of us. You know what I did then? I scrolled with me mouse wheel. Some things have just come naturally, don't they? So what if we're poor and cramped and miserable? At least we'll be happy. If you haven't come to your, I presume, senses, does it carry on? Senses, and still, and then I don't think we see what he writes next because it comes away. So he's obviously writing to Marion saying, "Okay, let's do it. Let's get married," or whatever. This is that. This is kind of his proposal to her, isn't it? Bit bloody late, mate. Anyway, so he's writing that in the back room, and then we pulled back to a lady buying something to kill insects with, or with which to kill insects. Sorry, Wingrace. From Bob, is it Bob? His assistant. Yes, Bob Summerfield. And she wants to know if it's painless. Do insects feel pain? I don't know. They've got like a different to like other, because they're invertebrates, aren't they? They're different to like vertebrates. I presume. I don't know. Do they? Do they, detect injuries? I don't know. But anyway, whatever. She wants it to be painless because she's a good person. But then Lila arrives, presumably in a taxi, because she arrives with a suitcase and everything. Has she got a car? Because apparently she'd gone to Tucson. I'm like, I think she's supposed to run a record shop or something, isn't she? Something like that. So did she get a taxi to Tucson? I don't know. But anyway, she gets out of this car anyway with a suitcase, and then the car drives off. So I'm guessing it's a taxi. A cab, whatever you want to call it. She just walks to the shop. Sorry, the store, and she says, "Are you Sam?" She goes, "Sam," and then he goes, "Sam, lady wants you." So anyway, apparently he's never met her before. He's never met Lila, because he doesn't recognise her. She says, "I'm Marion's sister." "Oh, Lila." So he's asking, "Is Marion there?" He says, "No, of course not." So nobody's telling him what's going on. So he's starting to get angry. Is Sam. Meanwhile, Mr. Arbogast, Martin Balsam's arrived. These weird close-ups on his face for some reason. But there you go. Tells Bob to go and bog off, basically. Bog off, Bob. We need some privacy. Pardon me. So Lila's getting upset because she doesn't know where Marion is. She's disappeared. So this is where we learn that they want the money back, and they're not going to press charges. They just want the money back. A boss did see her and put two and two together at the intersection, but then Mr. Arbogast comes in, introduces himself, and Sam's wondering what's going on. So he tells him she stole $40,000, and said, "But I ain't seen her, honest. I don't know what's going on." But anyway, so saying, have you checked in, hospitals and stuff, or maybe she's been, held up, or, for the money. But, yes, they don't know where she is. She just disappeared. So now we get a montage, because it goes away now, and so I don't know where's Lila going now. I don't know. Is she staying with Sam? Is she booked into a hotel? I don't know, because a weird thing happens in a bit. Unless I've just not noticed. But anyway. Then we get a montage of Arbogast visiting hotels and boarding houses in the area. There we go. And then he ends up at the Bates Motel where Norman's eating candy corns. Eh dear. So here he is. Here he arrives. Just Mr. Arbogast. The sign's not on. Remember we saw the sign when Marion arrived? He remembered to turn it on that night, didn't he? But he hadn't turned it on this night. I think about a week's passed. I think now. I think it's the following Friday. I think something like that. He does say, but he says, no, I've not come for a room. I just want to ask a few questions. So they go inside. That's where he says, he's got to change the linen in the rooms. He does it every week, whether they need it or not, whatever. So he says, "Are you out to buy a motel?" Because apparently he told him that I've seen that many hotels and motels. I'm going bleary-eyed. So he wonders if he's buying one. And he says, no, he's looking for somebody. Anyway, so there we go, trying to trace a girl. I think he says here how long she's been missing. Trying to trace a girl. Yes, been missing about a week. There we go. From Phoenix. So, he denies he's seen her. He looks at a photo of her. Is it a photo? I don't know. Is it a photo of Janet Leigh? Can't tell. But he says it's not her. He's never seen her. Anyway. And he goes to he does a switch and he turns the light on and he says nobody's been for a couple of weeks. And then when he switches the light on, he says a couple last week said if the thing hadn't been on, they'd just drove by. And then he goes, look, shifty-eyed, caught you. Because he's just as rubbish at being surreptitious as Marion was with that policeman. But anyway, so there you go. You said somebody hadn't been for a couple of weeks, but then you had a couple last week. So, can I check your book, your checking-in book? So he does. He checks that. So, and Norman's saying, "Oh, nobody's been here." But we get this scene here now, as Norman's chewing nervously, and it looks really awkward. There we go. This really awkward camera angle as he's checking the register, and he's like, look, chewing his candy corn nervously. It looks really awkward, but anyway. So he checks the checks the register. Is it going to show it? He's got a sample of her handwriting. Oh no, I don't think it shows it. But it says it's her handwriting, and it says Marie Samuels. Sam is her boyfriend's name. So he says, was she in disguise? How come you didn't recognise her from the photo? And then he starts going, oh, I'm remembering now. So he tells him the tale that, it was raining, and then I made her something to eat, and then she went to bed, and she got up early next morning and went back to Phoenix, or back to where she came from, he said. But he's not convinced, is Mr. Arbogast. And he says, something's not gelling, and if it doesn't gel, it's not aspic. And I thought, I better look up aspic. It's jelly, isn't it? So, something's missing. And he says, she's not still here, is she? Or she didn't ask you to cover for her. We'll pay you some money, or whatever. So he says, she's not still here, is she? So he says, no, come and check the cabins, and he says, oh, whatever. And then he looks up and he sees, does he see somebody in the window? Does he see, hang on, does it show it? Does he see mother? Yes, sees mother in the window. And he says, oh, who's that up there? So, it's just my mother, she's an invalid. And there you go. So, you know, would she know what happened with Marion? Oh no. This is where he asks him if you would be hiding her. He said, you know, she might have offered you money or whatever, you know. And but he says, no, she'd never have, you know, fooled me. I'm not a fool. And there you go. Capable of not being fooled by anyone, not even a woman. It's 1960. There you go. She might have fooled me, but she didn't fool my mother. All you had to do, Norm, was keep your mouth shut, but never mind. She didn't fool my mother. Says, oh, your mother met her. Can I go talk to her? And no, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You've got to go. If you want to come back, you have to get a warrant. So, right, he goes to this phone now. Phone booth. And I don't know, he's looking in his book. So I'm guessing Lila must have given him a number at where she's staying. I don't know. But he gets straight through to her, I think. Puts his money in, dials the number. And then... Oh, no, he's at Loomis. Oh, right. So, right, fair enough. I didn't notice that before. Hello, Loomis, this is Arbie. So, Lila's still at Sam's shop. So, she's staying there, sleeping in the back room. God knows. Anyway, so he tells them, you know, what he's found out, and he's at the Bates Motel, and he wants to go see the you know, Mrs. Bates. So he's going to sneak back in and see if he can have a word with the old woman. Dun, dun, dun. So he's watching and seeing Norman going about his motel duties. So up he goes to the house. Oh, I know. He goes in there first and he's, you know, Bates. Looks in the parlour. The room of death. I notice there's a safe. I don't think there's anything in it because he has a look. Has a shufty round. And then thinks, right, I'm going to go check up in the house on the hill. So in he goes. Takes his hat off because he's a gentleman. So he goes up the steps. Another famous scene coming up. By the way, this is another scene that were filmed by, you know, somebody else. When Alfred Hitchcock wasn't there for whatever reason, you know, the second unit or whatever, filmed it, this scene, and got it all wrong apparently. They kept like focusing on his hand going up the, you know, on the banister, and all that stuff, you know, close-ups of the hand on the banister and all that. And Alfred Hitchcock came back and looked at the dailies where he said, no, you filmed this all wrong. It looks like this man's going to be the victim. It looks like he's the villain because you know, sorry about that. You know, you're focusing on his hand when we should be seeing him, you know, from the front. So there we go. So they reshot it. So we see him from the front. Kind of blurred for some reason. Don't know why. Anyway, he gets to the top of the stairs. Hang on, I've gone too far. Gets to the top of the stairs. Then Mother appears at the top of the stairs. We hear the music again. Hang on. Here we go. Quite gruesome. I don't know, for 1960 maybe. Stabs him in the face, look. And down he goes the stairs. How they did this, I think it was essentially they filmed the camera going down the stairs, and then I think they rear projected it, and he just like stood there going, falling down the stairs. Like that. So there we go. That's how they did that. He didn't actually fall down the stairs in real life. Anyway, he lands at the bottom of the stairs, and Mrs. Bates descends upon him, knife in hand. Arbogast screams. His final scream. Dun dun. Meanwhile, back at Sam Loomis's shop, it's all smoke. Yeah, it's 1960. They're probably having, you know, cigarettes. Right. So, it's been, you know, it's been 3 hours since Arbogast called, and so she's worried. So they're gonna go and I think they're gonna go see the sheriff. I think. They're going to go check out. No, right. Sam goes to check out the Bates Motel. Says, wait here in case Arbogast calls. So she's staying there. He's heading out to the Bates Motel in his truck. So, there we see Norman how big is this swamp and how deep is it? I don't know. But there's another car there now. There's Arbogast cars in the swamp. And he looks round. He hears the truck. Sam's calling out for Arbogast. Arbogast. Then he looks evil, doesn't he? It's not Mother, It's just an excuse. Just blaming Mother. Anyway, so he comes back, does Sam. Then, don't know where he is, not there. So I think they go to the sheriff. Yes, they go to the sheriff now and see if he can do anything. They tell him all about what's happened. Marion's, stopped at the Bates Motel. It seems Arbogast went. He found all that out, that she were there, but she's disappeared. Something's happened at the Bates Motel. Arbogast wanted to go and question Norman Bates' mother, but then the sheriff sort of like goes, "Huh? Norman Bates has been dead these past 10 years." So we learn that she's been dead for 10 years. She's buried up in Green Lawn Cemetery or whatever. But he calls Norman, anyway, to ask about what's happened, and Norman says yes, he came and he asked some questions, then went away. So there we go. And then he says, Norma Bates has been dead, and that the official story is that she murdered her husband, not Norma's stepdad, murdered him, and then poisoned him, and then took the stuff herself. Strychnine, and murder-suicide about 10 years ago. So anyway, if his brother said, but he said he saw, the mother in the window. Norman said he wouldn't let him see her because she was too frail. And there you go. And they said, so if Norma Bates is up at the motel, who's buried in Green Lawn Cemetery or whatever? Anyway, so right, behave you. What you up to? What you up to, you princess? Oh, I got a static shock off you then. Indeed. My cat's making noises. On my PS5, she's claimed it. It'll be covered in her fur. Anyway, right, what's happening now? Right, who's that woman buried down in Green Lawn Cemetery? So, right, then we cut back to Norman, who's been holding on to that phone for a while. It was a while since maybe we've travelled back in time a little bit from when the sheriff phoned him. So, right, so he's got a plan now. He's thinking, right, stuff's happening. I've got to go and hide Mother. So he goes upstairs. Then we hear Norma's voice, and he's putting her in the fruit cellar. So we see him bring her out. Here we go. In a minute, we're going to show it. For Pete's sake. Here we go. He brings her out. Look, there we go. Taking her down into the fruit cellar. Why? Dunno. But he just is. Right, so anyway, we're at church because it's Sunday. It's Sunday. I told you it was Sunday. They've all been to church. Fairvale Church. This is actually the church that's on the Universal backlot. It's actually got an address. Just bear with me. Where is it? I've seen it here somewhere. By the way, the swamp that he uses is Falls Lake Backlot at Universal Studios. Anyway, where's this church? There we go. Circle Drive. That's it. The Universal Studios backlot. Circle Drive. Fairvale Church. There we go. Anywho, right, so they've gone to see the sheriff who's coming out of the church any minute now. And we learned that he's been out before church service. The sheriff had been out to speak to Norman, and it's fobbed him off, and the sheriff, being just a local sheriff, believes him. But anyway, so they've decided they're gonna go out to the Bates Motel and snoop around. So that's what they're going to do. So, right, so here they go. There we go. They're going to register as husband and wife. So they want receipts and everything. So there we go. So they're acting suspiciously, by the way. nobody in this film is good at being surreptitious or, whatever. Because he says something, he's like saying, hey, first time I've ever seen it happen. What does he say? Whatever. Paying cash or something without a receipt, whatever, I don't know. But anyway, so they go to the room, and now they've got to distract. They've got to get into cabin 1, because he looked at the thing, saw that she'd stopped. Oh no, Arbogast had told them that she'd stayed in cabin number 1, so they're going to go and check in there, make sure Norman's not about. So in they go, they have a search, and this is where she finds a piece of paper in the toilet, that evil toilet that we saw flushing earlier on. But one piece of paper didn't flush away it's got a number on. And she just sticks her hand in. You don't see her wash her hands afterwards, but anyway. Something has been added or subtracted from 40,000 on that tiny bit of paper. We saw her writing it was massive. But on this tiny bit of paper, 40,000. But anyway. Because, Marion was no good at mental arithmetic, it seems. But anyway, so he keeps that because it's a clue. Right, so they've got to go and talk to the mother. So they decide that Sam will keep an eye on Norman Bates. He'll keep him distracted while she goes up and questions Mrs. Bates. So that's what they're going to do. Right, so there he is. So now he's having a little chat. He's saying the wife's having a nap. And so I thought I'd come and have a little talk with you. And he's being very aggressive and belligerent with him. But anyway, she sneaks up to the house. In she goes. Dun, 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 dun. Talking away. Kind of not being friendly. It's supposed to be like a friendly chat, but they're not being friendly at all. But anyway. There we go. She looks in Norma's room, and then we see this spooky dent in the bed where Norma's been laying. And there we go. She's just looking round, looking for clues. She sees a reflection of herself and scares herself to death. There we go. Gasps. And there we see the big dint. So she was lying on the side then, obviously, wasn't she? Because that looks like that. Looks like been lying on the side for 10 years. Be like me in bed on the morning. Switch my telly on, put YouTube on. Lie there for an hour before I decide to get up. Anyway. Right, so there's... It's more like he's interrogating them, having a friendly chat, and they end up arguing. Anyway, gets to Norman's room. We see Norman's room. It's more like a kid's room. The toys about and stuff like that. Not like my room, that's a proper adult's room with me start at the next generation bedclothes and stuff. Anyway. There it is, with his kid's cot. Beethoven Symphony Number 3 in E-flat major. So he likes his classical music. I think she finds some slightly dodgy reading material. I think she opens it up. Oh, I think she found some magazines, if you know what I mean. Anyway, he starts being all aggressive with him about this $40,000. You take the money and move to another town and all that stuff, buy another hotel. He's like, shut up, $40,000, being all aggressive, don't start with me, I'm James Bond, or I will be. Anyway, so then he basically he knocks out Sam. Yes, he did, missed it. There we go. He's going to knock him out any minute now. There we go. Hits him with a do for what's it. Knocks him out. So goes running up to the house because he's realised he's been bamboozled. So she sees him running up, so she's going to hide in the fruit cellar. Well, under the stairs there. I'm sure this scene's been done in another film, and I can't remember which one. Did they redo it in Salem's Lot? Can't remember. I've seen this in another film, but where somebody's hiding under the stairs watching as somebody comes in, but I can't remember what it is. But anyway, so she's hiding there, and then she notices this door. There it is. And so she goes down and she finds Mrs. Bates. There she is. Mrs. Bates, are you all right? And you can tell, like, that it's not a real person or not an alive person, because you can tell, can't you? Because alive people move even when they're asleep. Anyway, she goes, Mrs. Bates, you all right? And then, dun, dun, it turns round. She turns the chair round. And it's, hang on. And it's Mrs. Bates, all not looking well. Apparently that's several of these Mrs. Bates dummies, all in various different designs. And he kept leaving, Alfred Hitchcock, he kept leaving them in Janet Leigh's trailer or whatever. And the one that got the loudest scream, they used. I don't know why did it with Janet Leigh. Because it's Vera Miles who does the screaming. But anyway, in this part, she turns around, so she screams. There we go. Hits the lamp, the light fitting, so it's swinging about. And then Norman comes running in with a stupid look on his face. He has to remind me, he's looking there. Have you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? Oh, hang on. Use that for the carpool lane. Use what? I don't know, but anyway. Oh, yes, because you need two people in, yes. Yes. They've got one of those in a city near me, in Bradford. They've got them like carpool lanes. Only place I've seen them round here, going into the city. They've got lanes where like you've got to have like more than one person in the car. But anyway, whatever. Anyway, comes in, pulling his face like that, going, Eee! And it reminds me of, for some reason, I've got his name now. In the film 2001, where Dr. Floyd is phoning his daughter from the space station. I don't know why, but it just reminds me of her. His daughter, who was played by Stanley Kubrick's daughter. I don't know why, she just does. Anyway, or he just does. So he's looking like that, looking all dopey, going, I'm my mother. So he's going to stab her. But then James Bond runs in, grabs hold of him, and the tussle. I'm Norma Bates, he says. Hey dear, what's that? Best viewers on. Oh no, very good, very good. Is that on? Oh yes, it is. That's a comment from Twitch. Thank you, Real Tenno, for your best viewers. Anyway, saying, I'm Norma Bates. And they're having a tussle. And his wig comes off. Because, it's Norman Bates. We can tell, look now, the wig's come off. And his clothes open up. And for me, I was watching this and I'm thinking, if he really thought he was his mother, that should have opened. He should have had like a bra on, a padded bra or whatever. Because the figure that we saw through the shower curtain, was, matronly, shall we say. So he should have, made the effort, shouldn't he? Not just have his normal clothes on underneath. I suppose he were a bit rushed, wasn't he? He were a bit rushed. Anyway, so... But he subdues him. Probably gives him a Vulcan neck pinch, something like that, I don't know. But there we see Mother watching on. And then we cut to the county courthouse, which also is probably on the Universal backlot. And this is where, there we go, we get the monologue from, I forgot his name, this fella, Simon Oakland. Is it Simon Oakland? Yes, it is. For like years, I've seen him in loads of stuff, but I think, for me, he's most famous. He played Tony Vincenzo in Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Kolchak's editor, or whatever they call him. He's been in loads of stuff. But that's where I know him from. What are you up to? Will you behave? Naughty. Making loads of noises, that cat. It's starting. Anyway, so he's playing like the psychologist, and he's been to speak to Norm and said, did he talk to you? Says, no, I got the whole story from the mother. So Norman Bates doesn't exist anymore, just his mother. So this is where he tells the whole tale. Very good. Norman Bates no longer exists. He's gone forever and all that stuff. So So this is where we learn that there we go. That there's been other people have died as well. He's murdered other people, as his mother. But Norman got jealous of when his mother married this other fella, so he killed them both. But took the mother's body, they buried a weighted coffin or something like that, and used his what's the word? Taxidermy skills on the mother. Didn't work very well, did they? But never mind. There you go. Killed them both, raised the crime, stole her corpse, and treated it so it would keep as well as it would keep. There we go. But then the mother developed a split personality, and he'd have conversations with his mother in his mind or whatever. But then if he had any attractions to any women, the mother side of him would get jealous and kill the other woman. So if any women came to stay at the motel, they probably were murdered. But luckily, they didn't do the Ed Gein thing of it. Started making lampshades out of human skin and skin suits and stuff like that. Thank goodness. But anyway, there you go. Met your sister. He was attracted to her. He wanted her. And that set off the mother. And mother killed the girl. He gets all dramatic to Simon Oakland, is this. As though he's in the courtroom, with the judge and everything. He's giving it his all. But he said, why was he dressed like that? He was a transvestite. It says it there. You go. And apparently, that line, the studio wanted to take it out because they thought it was a dirty word, transvestite. But they said, no, we're keeping it in. But anyway, so there we go. So it became his mother, essentially. That's what the story is. And and the $40,000, that's in the swamp. Because it was never about the money. Right, so feels a little chill. They're giving him a blanket. They're treating him nicely. But as we learn in Psycho 2, Sam and Lila, they go on to get married. So he must be into sisters. Must Sam. But then we go, so he's given the blanket lying there, and we're hearing Norma's voice, Virginia Gregg. Cat wants to go out. Unbelievable. We're near the end. In the last stretch. You want to go out? Right, I'll go let the cat out. Just bear with me. You're a pest. What are you? What are you? Yes, you. She's a cheeky monkey, is that cat? Where were we? We heard Norma Bates's voice in his head, talking about, I'll show them it was him. It were him all along. And, it'll tell them that I killed those girls and that man, but, it wasn't me. I couldn't even kill a fly, because a fly goes and lands on his hand. There we go. She says, no, he wouldn't even kill a fly. Then we get the famous bit here now. We get the music. Dun dun. Here we go. See if we can pause it. There we see Mother's skull. There you see. It just starts coming in there. There's Mother's skull. Just as we fade into them pulling Marion's car out of the swamp. There we go. Toe chain clinking. Pulling Marion's car out. I presume they'll get to Arbogast eventually. But that's the end. I was going to say, yeah, that's it. Done. Just ends like that. No credits. Sod all. So there we go. And that's the end of Psycho. Classic film. One of my favourites. I put it on. It's one of those, if I can't think of what to watch, I'll watch Psycho. If you want to watch a film. It's one of those, isn't it? So there we go. An amazing film. From beginning to end, it's just astonishingly good. And I haven't done it justice, obviously. Anyway, speaking of sequels, as I mentioned, didn't I? There was Psycho 2 that came after it in 1982. directed by somebody I can't remember, Richard, somebody I've forgotten. But it was written by Tom Holland of Fright Night and Child's Play fame. Oh, pardon me. And starred Anthony Perkins again, and it was a really good film with a shock ending, but I won't spoil it, although I did earlier on. And then that was followed by Psycho 3, which was directed by Anthony Perkins, and that film's mental. I've only seen it once, but it was crackers, absolutely potty. But anyway, and then there was Psycho 4, which was like a made-for-TV one with about young Norman Bates and his mother, and how she like abused him and stuff like that. And it was her fault that he ended up being the way he was. Not very good, to be honest. So there we go. So that's Psycho. And obviously the remake in 1998, the Gus Van Sant remake. They said like a shot-for-shot remake, which it kind of was. He added other bits and bobs, and they changed some stuff about, obviously. But it was more or less the same. But anyway, that would be the fifth one. 5 Psycho. Oh dear. And then there was a series, wasn't there? Oh, well, there was a series called, what do you call the Bates Motel? I think it was called The Bates Motel, wasn't there? Which were like one of these, anthology series, wasn't it? It was set at the Bates Motel, but it was a different story every week about different people that stayed there. I didn't see it all. I saw a few episodes. It didn't last long, I don't think. It was one of these series that were cancelled pretty quickly. And then there was the series Bates Motel in the 2010s-ish, wasn't it? That ran for a few seasons, and it was quite good actually. Once it got going, it was quite good. And I forgot the name of the actors that are in it. Her from the Conjuring films. I forgot her name, but I really like her, and I've forgotten her name. Anyway, popped in my head and then disappeared again. Never mind. I can't be bothered looking it up. And that English lad played Norman Bates. But that were good. That were a good series, even though it was set in modern times. But anyway. Right, so we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted. So what's coming up next? Right, on Monday, right, for appointment, Magnificent Mondays. So let me find it amongst this pile of discs I've got here. We're watching Stargate. Yeah, Vera Farmiga. Yes, that's it. Thank you. That's all I needed. Vera Farmiga. Sorry, got pulled into a meeting. Crikey. Bloody meetings. Yes, Vera Farmiga. She's got a sister, hasn't she? Is it I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Thaisa Farmiga? She was in the Nun films, wasn't she? Anyway, Monday. Watching Stargate, the original film with Kurt Russell and James Spader and others. Cool film. The series is better, but the film's cool. And then next Friday's Appointment with Fear is a double bill. We're having a double bill, yay! From Hell, which will be the second of the films, and the other one is Murder by Decree, which I don't have a physical copy of, but I bought it on. Hang on, I'll prove it. I bought it on Amazon Prime Video. Just bear with me. There it is. Hang on, let me full screen that. There, look. Bought it on Prime. You purchased this, it says. Murder by Decree, starring Christopher Plummer from 1979. So there we go. Cool film. I like that one. So that's next Friday. That will be a good Monday. Yes, I like Stargate. Like I said, the series is better, but the film's pretty cool as well. Don't think I've seen that. Which one? From Hell or Murder by Decree? Or both? I bet you have. I bet you have seen it. I think everybody's seen Murder by Decree. A Bob Clark film, about as Porky's and Black Christmas. Cool film with Christopher Plummer as Sherlock Holmes and James Mason as Dr. Watson. And From Hell is it's not Sherlock Holmes, but it's still Jack the Ripper. It's a Jack the Ripper double bill with Johnny Depp as the morphine addict Inspector Aberline. Anyway. Both cool films. Based on the From Hell, based on the Alan Moore comic, graphic novel, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, Alan Moore didn't want anything to do with the films. He never does he? Stop selling the rights to your stuff if you don't want them to be made into films. Bloody hell. Anyway, maybe he has no choice. Maybe it's his lawyers or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, whatever. Right, we'll leave it there. I'm going to go and get something to eat now because it's getting late. Right, so I wonder how the Paris Olympics opening ceremony went. I didn't watch it. Did everything go okay? I don't know. Anyway, right, so we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching, wherever you are. Thanks Windgrace, by the way, and Josh Temple, and Real Tenno over on Twitch for just plugging their own stuff. But thanks for keeping me company. He's a grumpy wizard. Yes, he is. He's Alan Moore. Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching, wherever you are. Look after each other, and until next time, I'll say there.